Clifford Peach lives in a luxury hotel with his father Larry Peach, who works as the manager of this hotel and also with his grandmother. The old woman flirts with the guests all the time, even if their wives are sitting next to them. Strange Mrs. Peach gave her grandson pencils and paper because tomorrow is Clifford's first day at his new school. Larry has to have an educational talk with his mother. After all, because of her indecent behavior, they may be thrown out of the hotel and then they will have nowhere to live. A hotel employee drives Clifford to school in a luxury limousine belonging to the hotel. After taking his class schedule, the boy goes to his class. Finding a free seat is not so easy. There's a whole bunch of old chewing gum stuck under the chosen desk. The newcomer's deskmate, Carson, immediately loses heart when Melvin Moody enters the class, who behaves very impudently and defiantly with the rest of the students. Moody then kicks Clifford out of his desk, claiming that he has taken his place. The teacher discovers that Ricky Linderman has failed to show up for class again. Some students are convinced that Linderman is a brutal killer and is hiding from the police, while others believe that he has already been sent to prison. Clifford decides to play a prank on Moody, and Carson explains that he shouldn't have done it, because Moody is a real bully. Carson advises the newcomer not to go into the school bathroom, as rumor has it that the bullies there knocked out the eye of one schoolboy and threw out the window of another. Many give Moody their lunch money, ostensibly for protection from local thugs. Clifford will have to do the same if he wants to live. When a car comes to pick Clifford up at the end of the school day, he hurries to get out of school, but on the way he is grabbed by bullies and dragged into the school bathroom. At this point, Moody bullies another student and forces him to give $1 each day. After learning that Clifford used to go to a prestigious school, the bullies assume that the newcomer has rich parents. Then Moody offers him for just $1 a day protection from the very aggressive and dangerous Ricky Linderman, who is rumored to have killed his own younger brother. The rookie refuses to pay, then Moody tells him to drink stinking water from the toilet. Clifford deftly pours the dirty water right in the face of the bully and runs away to the waiting car. Back at the hotel, Clifford eats lunch outside with restaurant food, and his grandmother tries to seduce the preacher later that day. Larry and his son don't waste any time either and peep at beautiful women in a nearby building. Upon learning of his son's problems, Larry immediately calls and complains to the headmaster, and his grandmother advises him to give the bullies a good beating. The next day, the headmaster threatens Moody with expulsion for extortion, but for now, the bully will have to stay in school after classes for 2 whole weeks. The headmaster gives Clifford an interesting piece of advice. Don't raise the alarm whenever someone just looks at you angrily. Moody is not about to forgive the new kid for his complaint to the headmaster and looks for a way to get revenge. One day right during class, the very badass Ricky Linderman walks into the classroom. Carson shakes with fear as the thug sits right behind him. In gym class, Moody accidentally pushes the new kid hard. And when Clifford opens his locker, he sees that all his clothes and textbooks are mixed with stinking leftover food. Clifford rushes to the school bathroom to wash his clothes, but then the bullies of Moody again extorts money from the newcomer. But at that moment, Linderman comes out of the toilet stall, so the bully immediately stops talking. Clifford catches up with Linderman and explains that Moody is extorting money from all the students, supposedly for protection from him. Clifford offers to pay Linderman personally to become his bodyguard, but the big man is not interested and leaves. Griffith, the second manager of the hotel, declares that the chief administrative officer will soon appear here and will finally deal with Mrs. Peach's indecent behavior. Clifford lies to his father that everything is fine at his new school. In fact, the bullies continue to bully the new kid, and Linderman doesn't want to get involved. About the big guy, there are the darkest rumors. The murder of students, violence against teachers, and other numerous crimes. But Clifford does not believe it all, and stubbornly refuses to pay Moody. Then the bully goes into a rage and shoves the new kid into a locker. Hearing the schoolboy's screams, Linderman finally feels sorry for him, and he lets Clifford out of the locker. Later, Clifford runs into the school cafeteria, where he pours ketchup and mustard on all the bullies and pours a cocktail over Moody's head. The bullies stump the high schooler, but then Clifford introduces Linderman to them as his personal bodyguard. Moody tells the bullies to attack the big guy together, but they cowardly walk away. The rest of the school laugh at Moody's bully, who actually turns out to be a weakling. Carson demands that the bully leader give him back all the money he's taken for the year, all the disgraced Clifford has to shut up and leave. Except Linderman is not going to help Clifford anymore. Then Clifford goes to the teacher to finally find out the truth about the harsh big man. The woman tells him that Linderman had a younger brother. One day he stayed home alone, found his father's loaded gun, and accidentally shot himself. It just so happens that the first person to find his body was Ricky Linderman. He's probably still reeling from the tragedy. Well, the police killings and the broken legs of the teachers are just school children's fantasies. Clifford joins Linderman in the school cafeteria. The newcomer tries to connect with the reserved big guy, but he just gets up from the table and walks away. Clifford asks the limo driver to follow Linderman. Clifford ends up alone in an unfamiliar neighborhood trying to follow Linderman. The big guy is initially angry to see the annoying classmate, but then agrees to show him his garage and his motorcycle, which still doesn't work. He's been building the motorcycle for a year, only one cylinder left to find, but they don't make them anywhere anymore. Clifford and Linderman go in search of the cylinder together, traveling from one junkyard to another. Linderman says that his younger brother was only 9 years old, and it was his job to raise the boy. Finally, at one of the junkyards, Clifford manages to find the right cylinder. Grateful Linderman, having finally collected his motorcycle, rides it around the city with his new friend. Meanwhile, Griffith brings the emergency manager to the hotel. A drunken Mrs. Peach invites him in for a drink, admitting that she doesn't even pay for alcohol here. The old lady drinks with the manager and even dances with him. In the end, the manager fires Griffith, not Larry, as he was very pleased with the outgoing and cheerful Mrs. Peach. After spending time with Clifford, Linderman becomes much more positive and begins to socialize with his classmates. But the idyll doesn't last long. Moody comes to their table, followed by a powerful bodybuilder Mike, whom the bully hired as his bodyguard. Mike squeezes Linderman's hand with all his might, laughingly declares that Linderman killed his little brother, and then throws the high school student to the sidewalk. Mike then goes through Linderman's pockets, pushes him, and calls him dirty names. Linderman leaves all of these hurtful actions unanswered and just walks away. Moody asks the bodybuilder to teach Linderman a lesson. Mike then stops the high school student's motorcycle and sends Linderman to the ground with a powerful punch to the face. Mike then breaks the motorcycle that the high schooler has been laboring over for a year. Afterward, Mike and Moody kick the humiliated Linderman. Satisfied, Mike leaves, and the cocky Moody drowns the motorcycle in a pond, after which only the keys remain in Linderman's hands. Clifford asks why the big guy didn't fight, but he just pushes his classmate away and runs away. Back at the hotel, Clifford meets Linderman on the roof. The big guy asks Clifford for money, and after getting $10, he leaves. Clifford catches up with Moody and tries to calm him down, because his little brother's body could have been found by anyone. At this point, the big guy cannot stand and makes a shocking confession. It turns out that on that ill-fated day, the brothers were in the house alone. The shotgun was in Linderman's hands when the younger brother tried to snatch it, but Linderman accidentally pulled the trigger. The accidental fatal shot killed the younger brother, and Linderman put the shotgun in his hands and lied to his father that he had done it himself. "I can't be relied on," Linderman bitterly tells Clifford and leaves on the train. At school, Carson is very sass. Bullies took away his bus fare. His lunch was flushed down the toilet, and his mother was called words he had never heard before. Shelley reassures her classmates, confident that Linderman will be back. And indeed, the big guy is walking through the park with a motorcycle he pulled from the pond. The completely insolent Moody notices Linderman and is about to take his motorcycle. A menacing Mike stands nearby. Moody pushes Clifford onto the grass, and Linderman is given 3 seconds to get out of here, but without his motorcycle. This time, Linderman can't take it anymore and pounces on Mike. A fierce fight ensues. At first, it looks like Mike will easily take the upper hand, but then Linderman lands some serious punches on him. Moody tries to help the bodybuilder, then Clifford has to take the bully on. Linderman then sends Mike into a knockout and watches the fight between Clifford and Moody. At first, the friend just misses blow after blow. Then the big guy advises him to hit the enemy right in the nose. After the first accurate punch to the face, Moody nearly passes out. After beating his opponent's body a little, Clifford ends the fight with another precise and powerful blow to the nose. Both friends come out of the fight victorious, and the bully is left with a broken nose. Moody sits on the ground, humiliated and almost crying, showing himself to be a real coward. Linderman takes his motorcycle and jokingly asks Clifford to be his bodyguard as they ride off with their friends.